You're in Braves country.
Good morning, Braves country. Atlanta Braves. Here's another one. 4-1 due to the bullpen. And we got an early game today. So let's go ahead and dive into the issues at hand, which is the Braves bullpen. Luke Jackson gets the loss, a 1-1 tie in the top of the seventh, and he gets roasted on a fastball that was just basically hanging over the plate for Teoscar Hernandez to slam over the left field wall, and the Braves fall behind 2-1 there. Their bullpen continues to unravel as Josh Tomlin, which I don't know what he's doing in the game in a pressure situation. Josh Tomlin has proven over and over again that he is a mop-up guy. Josh Tomlin is in your game if the game is out of hand one way or the other, whether you're up by 6 or down by 6. But to have Josh Tomlin go out there with the game still realistically can be won, it's a one-run game. I don't know what the hell Snicker's doing. So Snitty Ball will raise the blood pressure on it. So he goes out there, and I'm putting this loss on Snicker. I'm tired of sugarcoating this. Everybody wants, Snicker, raise the manager of the year. It's great. He knows how to develop players. Well, send his ass back down to AAA because we're trying to win ball games. We're not trying to develop anyone at this point. We're trying to win baseball games. Josh Tomlin should never, no Braves fan who has watched the Atlanta Braves this year would ever think to themselves, we're down by 1. We're going into the 9th inning. We're going to have the heart of our batting order up in the 9th. Hell, why don't we roll out Josh Tomlin out there? Now, Sean Newcomb came in the top of the 8th, and he pitched phenomenal. 2 strikeouts, no hits allowed. But he was sandwiched in between Bozo the Clown and Boo Boo the Fool. He's got Luke Jackson giving up home runs. And I get it that we're waiting on Martin and we're waiting on Green. But you got to have a better game plan than you're down by 1. The Luke Jackson thing, he just sucks, and we have to deal with it until we get better players out there. Luke Jackson belongs in the 6th inning. I'm not saying, I might have overstated that when I say he sucks. He sucks in those pressure lever situations. He should be in the 6th inning, in a 7th inning scenario where you're down, you're not wanting to waste your bullpen. So when Green and Martin get back, I get it. They'll be the ones in there. But you got to have a better game plan than to have Josh Tomlin be your 9th inning guy down by 1 run. So anyways, Braves lose again. It's 4-1. We get a early start today as mercifully this Blue Jays series will be over with. People can try to sugarcoat it all you want. The Blue Jays have kicked our ass. They did it down in Dunedin, Florida, and they're doing it up in Atlanta, Georgia. Ryu was phenomenal. And did I call it or did I call it? The Braves were going to let him go deep into the game because they try to ambush everybody, and you cannot ambush Ryu. Ryu is a phenomenal pitcher. He's a veteran. He's savvy. And he let the Braves get themselves out all game long. So let's go to the positive part. By the way, just to catch you up to speed, Mets and Phillies both won. So the standings look like this now. Mets obviously are still in first place. Phillies a game out, and the Atlanta Braves are 3.5 back. Miami also won yesterday, so they are now 4.5 back, just a game behind the Braves. And the only team who's cooperating with us right now is the Washington Nationals. They lose again. They lost to the Phillies. They've lost their last 4 in a row. They've lost 3 out of 10. Braves are 500 their last 10. They're 5-5. And that's pretty much what this team has been. We're 2 games under 500. This team has not been over 500 yet. And the way they play Toronto, I don't see it in the foreseeable future, because if they don't get this W today, for them to go over 500 by next week, they would have to go in and sweep Milwaukee in Milwaukee, which is a daunting task, and then they get the Mets. So a big, big game today. As Charlie Morton has got to right his ship. Charlie Morton, of course, last time out, got absolutely pummeled. And we're hoping for a much better game from him today because, wow. Last time out, I'll go ahead and run it over real quick. I'm sure most of you remember this. 2 1/3 innings. He was helped out by the scores. He gave up 6 runs, but they only credited all 6 of those runs they credited as unearned. I think that was extremely lenient as hometown bookkeeping. You have to give at least a couple of those runs to him. I get it. You don't give him the whole because there was an error in that inning. But to say that all 6 were unearned, Anyways, those of us who watched the game, we know they earned it. They earned the damn runs. And away we go to today. Charlie Morton has not lived up to what we thought he was going to live up to be. And there's plenty of time. But as it stands right now, he's sitting with the 4.98 ERA. Is that the Charlie Morton we thought we were getting when we were excited about the 1-year, $15 million deal that he was able to get out of Atlanta? We felt like that we got one of the better signings of the offseason because it gave us a veteran leadership. When you're 4.97 and even more indicative, a 1.37 whip, that means you're letting batters get on base. He has not had what I would call a good start to this year, obviously. And looking at his last several starts, he gave up 6 runs, no matter what the hell they want to say, that they were not unearned, whatever. They were roasting him all over the park. At Toronto, 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Chicago, 5 innings, 5 earned runs. He did pitch well against the Yankees. That was a big game. But then right before that, Miami, 6 innings, 5 earned runs. He's had 2 good starts this entire year. At home against the Phillies on April 9th, where he went 6 innings, 1 earned run. And then against the Yankees, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Now, what that tells you is the ability is there, because he did it. So when you do it against Phillies, you do it against the Yankees, you know that they can do it against pretty darn good teams, good offenses. But it also tells you that he's been highly inconsistent, and he's looking for a big, big outing today as the Braves are going to try to right the ship. The first pitch today is at 12:20, going up against Ross Stripling. In his own right, he has been a disaster. He's 0-2 with a 6.61 ERA. We all know that is just not going to get it done in the major leagues, but Stripling has been a guy who's actually had a pretty decent career all in all with the Dodgers. And for people who aren't familiar with him, he is a guy, he's a righty. He tries to keep the ball low. He's kind of like a poor man's Gonsolin. People remember him from the playoffs. So what you're going to get is a guy that can be gotten to, but if you go out there and you try to ambush him, he's savvy enough to where if they don't work the counts, he can find himself deep in this game. And Atlanta's got to get into that damn bullpen. They're not doing that to teams because I looked up last night and it was about the 5th inning and we hadn't even cleared 50 pitches on Ryu. I was like, here we go again. Hell, I thought he was heading to a damn complete game though, the way he was pitching. I think they just took him out because once they got the lead, they had their bullpen fairly rested because they had the day off on Monday. And so they hit us again with Chatwood. And I'm starting to think that guy should probably be their closer, but regardless, Chatwood came in. He is nasty. I don't want to see that guy. I'm hoping with him pitching the last 2 nights, we won't have to see him today. Chatwood obviously used to be a starting pitcher, and he is a hell of a reliever at this point. And I believe he's going to extend his career quite a bit. There's some guys that are bullheaded and won't go to the bullpen. This kid is said to hell with it. I'm going to go to the bullpen. And he's taking full advantage of it. So 12:20 today, Ross Stripling versus Charlie Morton. The big news yesterday, Mike SOROKA is going to have exploratory heel surgery. That's not a good sign. We're sitting, in May? And I was going through it in my head last night, and I was thinking, okay, best case scenario, he comes back sometime late August, early September, and gets back just in time to have some kind of a push to help the Braves, possibly in the postseason. Whether he could be a starter is another question, because if you don't get enough starts out of him, what if he doesn't? What if he's not ready till mid to late September? Because you got to figure the month of May is shot, the month of June is shot. Your best case scenario is it's a minor procedure and he can start rehabilitating in July at some point, and then go to the minors in August at some point. And you hope that maybe he's making a start before Labor Day. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he's done for the year. So you got to start thinking of a lot of different things. And one of the things that I'm looking at is, first of all, Drew Smiley, he has got to step up. If the Braves are going to make a run, because if they make any trade, y'all, they're not going to do it till late July. And it's mainly because they don't want to pay the money that you would have to pay, right? If you acquire some guy in March, May or June, that's more of the salary. And right now we pull for a team that is financially strapped. Better things are coming when they get out of their current deal, but that's still a good 4 or 5 seasons away. And at that point, you hope that they're able to sign a new deal, give them more revenue, and they're able to hold on to the Acuñas and the Albies of the world. But today's Braves team, you've already sunk your money into Morton and you've sunk your money into Smiley, $26 million for 2 guys that are not pitching very well. Smiley had a good outing last time out. He is scheduled now to pitch Friday. But they've got to get big time stuff out of Smiley. And he doesn't, I'm not even being unrealistic. He doesn't have to go out and throw 7 innings of shutout ball, 10 strikeouts. He doesn't have to do any of that. He's got to get you through 6, and you're shooting for a quality start, which would be 3 earned runs or less. And if he can do that routinely, the Braves offense is going to get clicking. I still believe that offense can go. The Darnold injury is a big bummer, and it's going to hurt our offense. But the rest of the guys just have to step up and start making more intelligent decisions. Azuna has got to become more of a leader. And I think Freddie's got to start showing some leadership. And I don't mean the little things that he does where he's everybody's best friend, all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about showing the younger guys. Why do you think all these other younger guys are constantly trying to ambush the counts? Because they see Freddie do it. And Freddie gets himself in trouble from time to time. Yeah, he won the MVP last year, and that was great. It's also a 60-game season where he got extremely hot. And we know Freddie can get extremely hot. He can also get extremely cold. And we didn't see that whole thing last year because it was a shortened season. He got hot. He rode it to an MVP. I think most people are always going to have an asterisk on that MVP. I say, hey, he was the MVP of that year. And unless you just aren't going to give it out that year, you got to respect the award. But in a 162, the ambushing that he does comes back to bite him in the ass. And that's why he's not hitting very well right now. We know he'll warm up. But if he would learn, it's not like I can teach Freddie Freeman how to hit. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is if he would work the counts more, the younger kids would follow suit. But they see him ambush, and because he's a special talent and he can get hot from time to time, and Ozzie Albies sees that and says, all right, let's go. I can do that. You can't do Freddie Freeman type things, Ozzie. But Ozzie is a young kid and looking up to the veteran Freddie. And so this is the offense that we're essentially being dealt this year. And I'm going to say one last thing about this Braves offense. I don't believe Freddie needs to be in the 2-hole. I just believe he should be in the 3-hole. It's making our lineup very short. When you have Acuna, Freddie, and Ozuna, there are some nights where it works out, but it is making that's the sound that I'm about to get out of here. But it's making our lineup very, very short. I've been a big proponent of this for a while, and I'm going to say it again. I believe against left-handed pitchers, it should be Dansby Swanson sitting in the 2-hole, and against right-handed pitchers, it should be Ozzie Albies. Because Ozzie's a better power hitter against lefties, so you slide him farther down. So in a typical, we'll take today's starting lineup. I would go, or starting pitcher, against Ross Stripling. I would go Acuna, because you got to have Acuna lead off because he's undisciplined as hell, and you might as well just have him lead off. That's pretty, he tries to get things going. He's a stolen base guy. He's not going to work the count. He's not going to do the smart thing and move the runner over. You got to have him there. If you can put Dansby Swanson in the 2-hole, maybe even try him against Rays in the 2-hole. I wouldn't be against that either, just across the board. A few years ago, he was in the 2-hole, and he was doing phenomenally. He got injured, and they never put him back, and I never understood it. So let's just go with Ozzie, Dansby, Freddie, Ozuna. I'm not sure what I said at first. What I meant was Acuna, Dansby, Freddie, Ozuna, and then Ozzie in the 5-hole. And I'm starting to lean towards you might want to put Riley there. But for argument's sake right now, to keep the righty-lefty, let's just say it's Ozzie and then Riley. And so after that, you're talking about Contreras. And for the time being, Pache, but I'd be fully on board with them sending him back down to the minors to get his game back together and get someone more productive in the center field position. Whoever's doing the best. I'm not going to pigeonhole them and say they have to go here, they have to go there. But Pache, I'd give it a few more weeks, and if he doesn't get it together, he's got to go down and figure out his swing. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, y'all. It's went a little longer than I expected, but was a little pissed off about the Braves bullpen once again. Josh Tomlin does not belong in the damn 9th inning unless the game is like 8-1 one way or the other. Then I can see that. But now when it's a 2-1 game, go Braves, 12:20 today, Stripling versus Charlie Morton. Come on, Charlie, get it together, man. You got to give us more than an inning. 15, I mean, I know Cole Hamels only pitched 3 innings last year, but you're starting to wonder which one was a bigger bust at this point. I believe in you, Charlie. Go kick their ass. And I am sick and tired of seeing the damn Blue Jays. We'll see you tomorrow.
You're in Braves country.